What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chico Moya, and if this is your first time, the first thing you gotta do is subscribe to the channel. This is the best channel on YouTube. I am going to be visiting Sweden for the first time. I've never been, and I've heard a lot about Sweden. I've heard a lot of good stuff, and I've heard some bad stuff. But me living here in Finland means that I am closely connected to Sweden all the time. The Swedish language is like everywhere here in Finland, to some Finnish people's anger, I guess. So I wanted to react to a video about immigration in Sweden, simply because, I don't know, it's something that's happening all over the world, and I would like to know what's happening with our close neighbors and how they are dealing with this. So follow along, and then I will be giving you some of my thoughts. And I've never seen this video before. It is around 8 months old. So yeah, let's get it.
Gang wars and shootings have kept Sweden on tenterhooks for years. The situation is getting increasingly brutal. Suburbs, which are predominantly home to migrants, are often in focus. Suburbs like Rinkeby, in the north of the capital, Stockholm.
Did they say gang wars? I've watched a few videos about this a while ago, and I remember being a little bit taken aback hearing about gangs in a place like Sweden. It just doesn't make sense to me. So interesting. How did things get to that point, though? You know, right now it seems to me that they are trying to fix something that got broken, right? How do you get to a point where you have just an entire area full of migrants who have no education or low education, and gangs and stuff are starting to pop up and whatever? I find that quite interesting. And I just want to make one quick point before I continue. You see, I don't blame anyone for looking for a better life in a different country. And when I talk about immigrants in this case, I'm mostly talking about, people fleeing from desperate situations and whatnot, and some people who just want better opportunities economically. Like, I'm not going to fault anyone for wanting a better life. I do fault governments for not adequately creating systems to integrate people into society. Where I do fault immigrants is when you come to a place and then you start causing shit, right? Then I do fault you. As an immigrant myself, I can look at you and be like, bro, you are ruining things for everyone. That's where I kind of stand on immigration in general.
Businessman Ali Eren supports it. He thinks the bridge will help integrate his neighborhood, Rinkeby, into the city. He worries about the growing violence and says the state must do more. Bridges alone cannot resolve the situation.
Hardly any money is being invested in schools. Instead, more and more are being privatized. And the laws are too lax. Young people know if they shoot someone before they're 18, the most they'll get is 2 or 3 years in prison. It's a catastrophe.
Damn, that is an issue. Yeah, you see the same thing happening in certain cities in America, where they bring down how harshly you can be punished for certain crimes. And a lot of people, I guess, perhaps, if I'm being charitable, will say that some people feel that, we need to take the posture of wanting to re-educate people or wanting to rehabilitate people. But the issue with that is that the proof is in the pudding. It's showing that by bringing down harsh punishments, it's actually emboldening people to do stuff. And here in Sweden, from what I'm seeing, Rinkeby, if I'm saying it right, is an area where a lot of migrants are staying, and it's creating an environment that is obviously not helping the people there, and they're not integrating into the culture. And from what I can see now is as if it's a completely different, it seems like it's a completely different country, right? Because I'm pretty sure in the rest of Sweden, people are not just being shot up all the time, right? Quick pause in the video, guys. If you are enjoying my content, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like as well. It really helps. And if you want to support me, I've got merchandise now. I'm sure there will be a bunch of stuff at the bottom there. Like this one says, you only truly lose when you stop trying. So don't stop trying. I've got a whole bunch of this stuff down there. It really helps, and I would appreciate it. But anyway, back to the video.
A young man suddenly interrupts our conversation and threatens Eren. But Eren stands his ground. In Rinkeby, you have to earn your respect, he says.
Sorry, guys, I do not mean to be smiling, but that is rough. How did you get to this place, Sweden? I know from what I've seen, I mean, the murder rates and stuff, although high in comparison to Europe, is still low in comparison to places like America and stuff. So it is good to put that in context, but it's still really shocking that that sort of environment is like that. And I can tell you, living here in Finland, having spoken to Swedish people here, and just the general vibe of Scandinavian and Nordic countries, the idea that you'll just go and threaten someone like that it just doesn't happen. It's pretty wild.
But he's naturally concerned about the increasing gun violence. In January, a boy was shot dead in this sushi bar in the south of Stockholm. Both shooter and victim were only 15. Swedish police are alarmed by this development and increasingly at a loss.
From what I understand, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think in 2020, the police went really hard on a bunch of gangs, right? And imprisoned a lot of the leaders and that sort of stuff. And that gave way to a new type of gang to come through who like using young kids, because the sentencing of young kids basically is non-existent. You just get to spend a little bit of time in some juvenile detention place. And whereas in the past, although there were gangs, the idea of just shooting someone in the head and killing them just wasn't a thing that would happen often. But this new type of gang violence is beginning to ramp up. And I wonder what Sweden is going to do. And I can imagine Finnish people are looking at this being like, yo, we don't want any of this shit.
We're dealing with younger and younger people. Some are children as young as 13 or 14. We try to intervene by informing child welfare, contacting the parents, or making home visits. But at some point, you can't reach these young people anymore.
The far-right party, Sweden Democrats, is taking advantage of the violence by drumming up sentiment against Sweden's migrant communities.
This is the framing of things that I really don't like. That's not how it works. There is an actual issue. And the left-leaning parties, by morally posturing themselves, saying, hey, we'll take everyone, has caused an issue. So I don't consider it as taking advantage. It's pointing at a situation, and whether they're far right or not, it still remains the situation. And this is what happens. It's like, I feel like left-wing parties don't want to talk about this stuff because they feel like they're giving fuel to the far right. But by not talking about it, they're giving fuel to the far right. And people agree with them in this aspect of things and are kind of willing to shrug away some of the other questionable policies if this is sorted out. I mean, the same thing's happening in America. Like, I just find this sort of thing really stupid. Promise to sort out the situation, give a plan, and people would vote for you. At least that's the way I view it. Not this whole far right, blah, blah, blah. That's stupid.
Stefan Lindström's bridge is also in the firing line. The right-wingers want it torn down. They believe it will bring Rinkeby's criminality to Ursvik. We contacted the SD, but the party declined to comment.
Demolishing the bridge would be completely pointless. It will cost the taxpayer the equivalent of 10 million euros. That's madness.
In Ursvik,
Okay, so Rinkeby is connected to another suburb or another area. They're wildly different. So they built a bridge there. The right-wing party wants to demolish it because it would bring people from Rinkeby into those areas. These are surface level issues, right? Am I the only one seeing it like that? That's so surface level. Whether you destroy the bridge, whether you keep it there, whatever, that's not going to change anything. Something more fundamental needs to change, I would guess, in terms of the way you handle the criminality, right? Otherwise, all of this is just posturing. Like even the right-wing party, why are you focusing on destroying the bridge? Focus on creating policies that would curb violence or that would be a little harsher on criminality. At least that's the way I see it. And I know it does seem like I'm coming across as very callous in terms of punishing criminality, but there is, at least I don't see any other way, because trying to be nice and kind and giving people all of these benefits and whatever, well, it has created the situation that is there already. And this isn't a race thing. Like, I also just want to be clear, this isn't about race. It isn't. Immigration is a good thing in general. I'm talking about the type of immigration that has happened and how to deal with the effects of not adequately trying to integrate people into society, bringing people from countries that have a lot of issues. You know, I feel like people don't understand that. If you come from a war-torn country, do you think that that person is mentally 100% able to just live life and continue? I mean, it is possible, but I think that you need to take extra precautions, right? Am I tripping here? At least that's what I see. And also, I do know that a lot of the crimes are being done by second-generation immigrants. So it's not even as simple as, oh, it's just the immigrants. It's actually second-generation immigrants. So it's got something to do with the culture in those, I guess, a second column. I think that's called when there's a society within a society. I think so. So they've got their work cut out for them.
There's little concern that youth violence could spill over to them via the new bridge. Most people are fairly relaxed about the dispute.
The issue has been blown out of proportion by tabloids like Expressen. Here in this neighborhood, I haven't noticed much conflict at all. And before building the bridge, they set up a new police station in Rinkeby. Since then, it's been a lot quieter over there.
I like that. You see, people are reasonable. People are chill. I don't like the idea of demonizing a whole group of people. The issue is, if you're constantly dealing with the surface level stuff, these things are going to continue to grow. If you deal with the iceberg, the real issue, then you will deal with a lot of the xenophobia and a lot of the conflicts and that sort of stuff. Because, I mean, people here in Finland, and I'm sure it's the same thing in Sweden, I'm sure people just want to live and continue to do their thing without being shot up or whatever. And it's not about race. It's just, yo, sort the shit out.
Stefan Lindström is sure the bridge will have a positive effect. He hopes the uproar will die down once the bridge is finally finished.
It's just better for social cohesion if people from different backgrounds meet in everyday life, instead of having one district for the poor, one for the middle class, and one for the rich.
And I think he is correct in terms of trying to divide up the country and creating sections, different sections of levels of poverty and wealth is going to sort out the issue. I don't think so.
That doesn't help anyone.
In a few weeks, the bridge will open to the public. Then many Rinkeby and Ursvik residents will meet for the first time at the ribbon-cutting ceremony on the bridge.
That was pretty interesting. If you are Swedish living in Sweden, I'd love to hear some of your thoughts below, because I do read most comments that you guys post. I might not reply to all of them, but I really do. And I'm still learning a lot about this sort of stuff. And I would be interested to hear what you think about this, because this was 8 months ago. Has anything changed? How are you feeling about it? And what do you want the government to do? I genuinely would love a world of less conflict, you know? That would be really cool. But I think we just need to start calling a spade and then dealing with the issue instead of hiding it and trying to not give a different party ammunition to fight against you, blah, blah, blah. That seems really silly to me. Deal with the issue, deal with the iceberg, change things, and then everyone can integrate a lot better and everyone can continue living. At least that is just my opinion. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this. Let me know your thoughts below. And Sweden, I am coming to you on the 22nd of this month, which is, as of filming this, February. So that's going to be cool. It was a birthday gift to myself. So I will see you there. Give me some recommendations of where I should go. I'm going to Stockholm. So let me know what I should do, where I should go. And yeah, until next time. Cheers.